She was looking at that girl like, ooh, this girl got some whole qualities. Ooh, I know a hoe when I see one. Ooh, she gonna have my daughter selling pustanka in no time. Well, hello there, love bugs. Hello there, Bellas. If you have not already done so, please remember to like, share the Facebook, subscribe, and visit uptopbeauty.com for this Hilda hat. Now, I'm not sure if we have the black with the white flower left, but I know we have a few of the black cap with the black flowers. So go on over there to uptopbeauty.com and check it out. And if you are not already a part of this book club, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, dun, dun, dun. Let's talk about Betty LaVette, A Woman Like Me, by guess what? The David Rich. We love all his books. They were black bottom pimps looking to recruit. My first thought was, choose me, choose me. But I didn't get chosen. Why not? I was shapely, I had a big booty and a cute face. But I guess that wasn't enough. Maybe I lacked that come hither vibe that makes a successful hooker. A girlfriend and I hitchhiked to Black Bottom so we could see it for ourselves. It was love at first sight. I loved seeing all those long Eldorados, all those fast moving people, all the action on the street and in the club. If you had told me I could be a singer in one of those clubs, I would have never gone home again. Ladies of the night in stacked heels and push-up bras. Pimps in green silk suits, fancy fedoras, and spit-polished alligator shoes. This was life. This was Paradise Valley. I just wanted to stretch out on the sidewalk and take it all in. I just wanted to stay there forever. I was never the same. Never. A taste of Black Bottom had me searching for any place where there was music and action. A girlfriend told me about the Greystone Ballroom on Woodward Avenue where Berry Gordy, a part-time songwriter and full-time hustler, was signing acts for his fledgling local label called Motown. Did you know the truth about Lady Sings the Blues from when we read the Dinah Ross book was that Louis McKay was actually three people, three of Billie Holiday's boyfriends in one. And I want to believe that Louis McKay was what Berry Gordy saw himself as, just taller and absolutely finer. But I wonder if that was what he was aiming for. Mama warned me to stay away from the Greystone, which of course made it more exciting. She suggested that I stay home with Terry, but she and sister were doing a fine job of caring for my little one. Long as they were around, I knew Terry was in safe hands. They were all there. Otis Williams and the Distance, who would soon become the Temptations. The great David Ruffin, who would soon lead the Temptations. The Miracles with Green-Eyed Smokey. Mary Wells, who was singing Smokey songs. In music crazy Motor City, no one was crazier for music than I was. At an early age, I was listening to music that adults loved. I loved jazz. I hate jazz. The only jazz I like is George Benson, Anita Baker, sometimes, Mickey Howard, Billie Holiday, all the time. Oh, what's his name? Al Jarreau. Did I say George Benson? You know? But other than that, jazz is, I don't know. Maybe I should like jazz because I have a lot of people on the list. But anyway, Chuck Brown, when he is putting that go-go spin on jazz. I loved Etta James' version of Don't Go to Strangers. I thought that was the most sophisticated music I had ever heard in my life. Music gave me a crazy kind of confidence. I had a voice. I could project. I could belt it out. I was ready, but I had no entrance. I needed a connection. I saw that connection in Jono, the first of many pimp mentors who passed through my life. I was also from the West Side, where the pimps were classier and richer. At 25, he was 10 years older than I was. He was also possessive. I was his and his alone, not a working girl, but a girlfriend. Like Mama, Jono didn't want me around the Greystone. I don't want nobody looking at you, sweet talking you, or even touching you, he said. But given Jono's business obligations, he couldn't keep track of me all the time, so I snuck off to the Greystone on a regular basis. Possessive because you're so young and tender, all right? He wants to keep that thing young and as tender as possible so he can sell it later. Okay, I'll move forward. By 1961, Motown was slowly starting to show signs of success. Even their younger singers at 18 or 19 were several years older than I was, but I had every intention of catching up. The Primettes from the Brewster Douglas projects had become the Supremes, while the Marvels from nearby Inkster had become the Marvelettes. The only place I went during that year was to my sick bed. After Terry's birth, I had major medical problems. I was in the hospital when the girl in the next bed over was visited by her boyfriend. He had a handsome face, a black mohair suit, black patent leather shoes, red socks, and slick down hair. Oh yeah, you can't go nowhere in the 60s and the 50s without the concolina. Okay, that concholine, man, if you ain't got it right, if you ain't got a conch. Okay, that's what my mama told me. When his girlfriend went to get her blood work done, he stayed in the room and introduced himself as Willie Jones, a singer with the Royal Jokers. I knew their hit on Atlantic. You tickle me, baby. Willie was deep Detroit. He talked about having been in a kids' choir with Jackie Wilson, Little Willie Junkie John, and Della Reese. I'm singing at the Parisian, he said. You want me to take you down there when you get out here? I love that, I answered honestly. A week later, I was at the Parisian with Willie Jones. He had one of the most beautiful high voices I'd ever heard. I sing too, I told him that night. Cool, he said, 'cause I got a song just for a sweet little girl like you. Shut your mouth. I didn't say a word. I just said the name of the song. Shut your mouth. When he sang it to me, I kept my mouth shut. What do you think? He asked. I love it. A song about a young girl who makes her mama mad by staying out late is perfect for me. Then it's yours. Not much later, Willie was mine. Betty LaVette's book is called A Woman Like Me. She's being very honest. I appreciate it very much. She's telling us the good, the bad, and the ugly. She's taking accountability for her actions even as a child because, sometimes they like to make excuses for bullshit, okay? But I appreciate that Miss Betty LaVette is contrary to what we just read. That goddamn Ickety who ain't take accountability for nothing. So far, I am truly loving this woman and really appreciating her honesty with us because I'm going to tell you, it's some things in my life, y'all, that I would be very, very ashamed to put on paper. Not much later, Willie was mine or I was his. Any way you look at it, we became a couple. I found a way into the small world of Detroit's about to bust wide open music scene. No one could keep me out of the Greystone. There I made friends with Sherma LaVette, who called herself Ginger. She knew absolutely every singer and musician. She grabbed everyone worth grabbing. Ginger was the first real groupie I'd ever met. a super fan. I became a fan of hers and wanted to be with her every minute. I'm very attracted to what is smart, beautiful, different, artistic. Not only do I want to just admire it, sometimes I want to stand next to it. And I understand that she saw this woman as a mover and a shaker, and she wanted to take that opportunity to learn how to move and shake like her. I had formed a girl group called the Diamondettes. We lasted for a couple of weeks, and I don't believe Ginger ever heard us sing. But one night in the girls' room at Greystone, I was doing Bye Bye Baby because the tile acoustics made me sound better than Mary Wells. "Hey girl," said Ginger, "you can really sing. You got something." "You got something too," I said. "That Levette name, I like it. Take it. It's yours." At that moment, Betty Haskins became Betty Levette. At the same time, Ginger said something else that changed my life. "I got someone I want you to meet." "Who's that?" "Timmy Shaw, the one who sings Thunder in My Heart." "That's him? He needs to hear you." He sure does. Not only did Ginger know the singers and writers, she knew the DJs, promoters, and pimps. When I brought her home to meet the family, Mama hated her. I loved her to pieces. She was looking at that girl like, "Ooh, this girl got some whole qualities. Ooh, I know a hoe when I see one. Ooh, she gonna have my daughter selling Pastanka in no time soon." Don't even matter, Mama. That be the things that be knocking me out about parents, because you be thinking, as a parent, that girl right there is the bad news. When in reality, she had already been thinking about selling Pastanka since she was 10 years old. When Ginger introduced me to Timmy Shaw, I saw a man who was extremely ugly. I had no desire for him, but I went to bed with him anyway. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, girl. Okay, and I'm gonna leave it right there and walk away. I realized that if I went with Timmy, I'd get to meet the entertainers. He was in the record business. He was talented, and that was enough for me. So Betty has no problem with letting us know, the readers, that she was going to stand next to or get in bed with whoever she needed to in order to get to the place where she wanted to be. Hey, I respect it. "I think I should take you to meet the woman who's been making my records," said Timmy. "She's my writing partner." "Let's go," I said. We rode over to the west side, an exciting move for me. Until then, I didn't know that part of town. The apartment was on Broad Street. The woman, Johnny Mae Matthews, looked like Humphrey Bogart after a bad fight. See, now in this part right here, you got me fucked up. This is where the Temptations movie got me fucked up. Because you mean to tell me that beautiful woman, I forget her name. Hold on, let's find her name, because that lady was so beautiful in that movie. She's still beautiful. I cannot remember her name that played Johnny Mae. Vanessa Bell Calloway. That's her name. That lady is still absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. And for the Temptations movie to make us think that this beautiful, sexy woman was Johnny Mae, it's funny because, wait a minute, didn't we find out that some of them people that she had under her was hunching Johnny Mae? What book was that? Mary Wells. She was the one who told us that some of them boys were screwing on Johnny Mae. The woman Johnny Mae Matthews looked like Humphrey Bogart after a bad fight. She had cuts up and down her face and forearms as big as Popeye's. What? Ugly as sin, but she had a voice that could shatter glass. Betty Levette, I hope you could find. I hope that lady ain't alive when you wrote this book. I mean, because the way that she describes Johnny Mae kind of looked like she might, got hands or something. I knew her from her record. Her hit was My Little Angel, a song my mother loved. Johnny Mae sang in the powerhouse style of Big Mama Thornton with a smidgen of Ruth Brown thrown in for good measure. So there I was, standing with two singers who had songs on the radio. This was the big time. Betty Levette, if what's her name, Johnny May, Humphrey Bogart face after a bad fight, Matthews, if she wanted to sleep in the bed with you, would you have went there to make the album? I'm just curious. Timmy went to the piano and Johnny May sang something written by her and Timmy. My man, he's a loving man. She sang the shiz out of it. Now you do it, she demanded. Started, but after a few minutes, Johnny May stopped me. Don't play with it, baby, she said. Don't pamper it. Hit it. You can't keep it in. You gotta sing it out. I started again and again. Johnny May held up her hand. Stop. What's wrong with this hoe? Why'd you bring this bitch to me? That's not what she said. I'm improvising. Look here, child. If I was a little younger and a lot prettier, I'd cut this goddamn song myself. But I'm giving it to you because you got the right package to sell it. You young and fine. Damn, Johnny May, you want to fuck? But if you going to be shy singing these here words, ain't no one going to buy nothing. What I'm talking about, my man, he's a loving man. I might just as well be saying, my man, he's a fucking man. That's the feeling I want behind it. Now, can you give me that fucking feeling? I could. And I did. Yeah, because you was probably scared that that damn Johnny May Matthews going to beat your ass. Now all we needed was another song for the flip side. Do you know Willie Jones? I asked. Course, we love Willie, said Johnny May. Who don't know Willie? Willie has this song, Shut Your Mouth, that he said I could do. Willie got himself in trouble, said Timmy. He's locked up. Don't worry, nothing about that, said Johnny May. If it's good, and if he said you can do it, I'll go to his jail cell and get his okay. That's just what she did. And a week or so later, I was about to make my first record. I couldn't have been more excited. Johnny May and Timmy were hooked up with Robert West, who at the time had more juice than Berry Gordy. These were folks with several labels of their own and a history of hits. Johnny May told West that she thought my man was a hit. Matthews and West said the song would come out on one of their labels, Northern Real or Jam. I didn't care which one. I just wanted to see my name on a record and hear it on the radio. It all happened, but in a bigger way than I could ever imagine. The record's so hot, Johnny May said to me, that when Jerry Wexler heard it, he wanted to put it out. Who's Jerry Wexler? I asked. One of the owners of Atlantic. The Atlantic Record Company? No, the Atlantic Ocean. Of course, Atlantic Records. I asked, Atlantic? The one with the red and black label? Atlantic. Who's got Ruth Brown and Laverne Baker and Ray Charles and Solomon Burke and the Coasters and Clyde McFadder and the Drifters. And now, said Johnny May, Miss Betty Levette. For one of the few times in my life, I was speechless. Several seconds went by before I asked the only question that occurred to me, the only question that seemed to matter. Do I get any money now, Johnny May? I asked. Johnny May turned around instantly and slammed me against the wall. She grabbed my throat and said, Bitch, you haven't even made any money. Just take that cute little ass of yours and go on tour. Okay, so pretty much the Temptations movie got that part of Johnny May Matthews right, okay? Maybe she just couldn't, like toss around any of them temptations. But I be goddamn if you a female like me and you just going to toss me up against the wall like that and we ain't. You say that you love